Most people believe they keep failing because they do not have enough willpower. But that may not be the problem at all. Willpower comes from the conscious mind, the conscious you, the you that's listening to me right now. The habit that you are fighting may already be programmed into your subconscious mind. And there's a 99.99% chance that if you're fighting some habit, doesn't matter what it is, that's your reality. Now, when these two parts of your mind come in conflict, the subconscious mind, the older program, usually wins. I'm Armand Dupuis, and for more than half a century, I've been teaching people about higher states of consciousness, the subconscious mind, and what I call the operating system of the human mind. And here's something that most people have never been taught. Your conscious mind can decide what you want, but your subconscious mind may already be running the habit, the old program. That's why somebody can say, I'm going to stop eating that. I'm going to eat healthier. I'm going to get more exercise. I'm going to stop procrastinating. I'm going to stay calm. And they may mean it completely. But a few days later, they find themselves doing the same thing again. And they blame themselves. They say, I'm weak, I'm lazy, I have no discipline. But that may not necessarily be true. For most people, it's not. They may simply be fighting an old subconscious program with conscious effort. Let me give you a simple example. Think about learning how to drive. When you first started, you had to think about everything. The steering wheel, the mirrors, the brake, the gas pedal, and the traffic. The idea of, don't bother me, I'm driving. That kind of thing, right? Everything required your conscious mind, your conscious attention. But after you drove long enough, something changed. You stopped thinking about every little movement. Driving became automatic. I mean, look, you wind up, you drive to the mall or someplace, and you pull into a parking spot, and you can't remember the last 20 miles. Dangerous, right? No. Your subconscious mind was doing the program. It made the right turns, the right stops, everything. Got you to the right place also. Okay? Well, you having to think about it. You were listening to the radio or having a conversation with someone in the car. Or on your phone, which you shouldn't be. Okay? You see, but after driving long enough, the patterns had moved into your subconscious mind. It's like a computer. It knows what to do. Artificial intelligence, but beyond that, human intelligence. Having that program move into your subconscious mind, I mean, that's useful when the program helps you. But the same thing happens with programs that do not help you. Like the same emotional choices, the same fear, the same food choice, the same delay, the same way of seeing yourself. Repeat something often enough, and it becomes automatic. Automatic. That is when willpower begins losing the battle. You see, willpower is temporary, but a subconscious mind can run all day, all week, all month, all years. You know, we've been running some of these programs for decades. Some of them since birth. Funny part is, you're not the one that put them in there. My suggestion is, you decide what you want to put into your automatic subconscious mind. It is not rocket science. It's quite simple. I've taught this to kids. Like I said, a subconscious program can run all day. You get up in the morning, you're all determined that today is going to be different, but by evening you're running the same old programs again. The conscious mind became tired. The old program did not. Okay? Many years ago, when I was working with young music students, I learned something very important about this. The students were not told to simply practice harder. As a matter of fact, they took advantage of a good thing, and I think a lot of them practiced a lot less. Okay? But that's a different story. They were taught how to create the movie in their mind. That's the most important starting point. Most important. It's simple. Taught it to kids, right? But most people do it the wrong way, so it doesn't help. They imagine themselves already playing at a higher level. We cleaned up in competition. They did not picture themselves struggling to learn, to develop those musical skills, the coordination, all these things. No. They pictured the result. They saw themselves, experienced themselves being the musicians they wanted to become. And over time, their playing began to change and evolve far faster than anyone expected. Why? Because they were doing more than consciously forcing themselves through conscious effort. They were beginning to change the internal picture, because your internal picture runs your whole life. And the picture in your mind is one of the languages that the subconscious mind understands. For the most part, it doesn't understand affirmations. No, it doesn't work that way. That's why it's such a waste of time. Well, in one sense it's not. Affirmations can be, you can put your affirmations together to give you a solid idea of what it is that you want. But then you can throw that away. Then you build a movie. That's the foundation to build a movie in your mind. Now, this is why the correct use of imagination is so important. And still today, so many coaches teach it the wrong way, and that's why it doesn't work for 95% of people. Most people use their imaginations against themselves without realizing it. They imagine failure, they imagine embarrassment, they imagine everything going wrong, and the subconscious mind delivers, right? Problem is, they're running the same movie over and over and over again. And then they wonder why the old feeling keeps coming back. But imagination can also be used in the other direction. You begin seeing a different result, a different reaction, a different version of yourself. Now, that doesn't mean you sit back and do nothing. You still take action. But now you are not relying on willpower alone. You are beginning to work with the deeper part of your mind, where the pattern is actually operating. And this is where Alpha becomes so important. Alpha is a calmer, more receptive state of mind, a more receptive state of consciousness. Most people have heard the word Alpha, but hearing about Alpha, learning about Alpha, and actually experiencing Alpha are two totally different things. And when you experience it, you begin to understand why trying harder is not usually the answer. There's no need to struggle. Sometimes you don't need more force. You just need a different internal state. And you need a different program. But you change the program easily from that different internal state. So the next time you find yourself returning to an old way of thinking, an old habit pattern, don't call yourself weak. Ask a better question. What program has been running inside of me? Because the program may not be your character. It may be your programming. And once you understand that, you stop fighting yourself. You begin changing the operating system of your mind. And that is the purpose of the Alpha Experience. Not to give you more information, but to help you experience a different way of functioning. Subscribe to the channel for more videos about the subconscious mind, higher states of consciousness, and the operating system of the human mind. I got lots of videos. It's like having a course. If you go through some of my playlists, it's like having a full course, totally free. And in the comments, tell me, what is one habit you've tried to change with willpower alone? And when you're ready to experience Alpha for yourself, use the direct link below to get on the waiting list for the next free Alpha Experience Masterclass. You don't have to believe me. You only have to experience it. So I'm looking forward to meeting you in the Masterclass. Until then, au revoir.